Hola, hoy vamos a hacer los apuntes del capítulo 7.3, parte 2. Este capítulo es de verbos como gustar. Vamos a repasar gustar. Gustar es de español 1. Okay, here's how gustar works. You have 3 parts. 2 of them are required. Okay, you have to say who it is that likes it. Me, te, le, nos, os, and les. So, me gusta, I like it. Te gusta, you like it. Les gusta, Roberto y Anita like it. Okay, that's the first part. It's required. You cannot leave this out. Okay, then you add our second part. It's also required. You cannot leave it out. You decide if you are going to use gusta or gustan. You use gusta with singular items and with verbs. So singular item would be like, I like pizza. You have to put la or el in front of it, even though in English we don't say I like the spaghetti. In Spanish, you have to say the, el or la. We also use it with verbs. Me gusta correr. Me gusta hablar francés. It doesn't matter how many verbs it is that you like, even if there are many verbs that you like. Me gusta hablar español, mirar la televisión, pasar tiempo con mi familia, y estudiar. Even if there's many activities, if it's a verb, you use gusta. And then gustan, we use for plural nouns. And you have to use los or las in front of it. Me gustan las películas. Okay, those are the 2 required parts. The optional part is if you want to put the person who likes it. It would be a mí, a ti, and then in front of le, you would put the person, like a Roberto. And when you're using the verb gustar, it absolutely has to have an a in front of it. Any people have to have an a in front of them. Okay, so opcional. If there's a person, it's an indirect object pronoun. That's just the way this verb works. So it requires a personal a. So if you want to use them, it's a mí, a ti, a él, a ella, a Catalina, a nosotros, why can I never spell this word? Nosotros, a ellos, a ustedes, a Catalina y a Mateo. Okay? Then, who likes it? This is required. Me, te, le, nos, os, les. Then, le gusta algo singular, es gusta. Le gusta algo plural, es gustan. O unos verbos son gusta. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now you've got it filled out. Okay, los verbos como gustar. These verbs work exactly like gustar. You put a person with an a if you want to. You put me, te, le, nos, os, les required, and then you put the verb required. Encantar means to love or to adore. It can also mean like to enchant, but it means like I love something, right? Like hamburgers enchant me. I love hamburgers. Fascinar is to fascinate. Importar is to be important to. Interesar is to interest. Molestar is not to molest, it's to annoy or to bother. Parecer is to seem. I guess also like to appear, like it seems good to me, it appears good to me, but I think in English we would usually use seem. And aburrir is to bore. Now, let's pay attention here. Just like in gustar, because it's an AR verb, we only have two options. It's got to be gusta or gustan, right? These verbs, if they are AR verbs, you only have two options. Encanta, if you love one thing, which is why on all the McDonald's cups it says me encanta. That's their translation of I'm loving it, although technically it means I love it. Encantan, if you love two things, right? Or plural things. Fascina, if one thing fascinates you, like social studies, and fascinan, if many things fascinate you. For example, science and math are always plural in Spanish. Same thing, same rule with all of these. Once you get to ER and IR verbs, our A's change to E's, just like always. So, me parece, one thing seems good to me. Me parecen, many things seem good to me, right? And then aburre, one thing is boring to me, or an action is an action or a verb is boring to me. And then aburren is many things are boring to me. So for example, me aburre la clase de matemáticas, because la clase es singular. Pero me aburren las matemáticas, porque en español las matemáticas siempre son plurales. Okay, so you're going to decide here. Are we going to say me encantan, me importa mucho would be like it's very important to me, right? So what you're going to notice here is all of these are you doing it. You need to pay attention to, is it many things or is it one thing or a verb? And just write in the ones that make logical sense. This one is a conversation. The first person asks a question, the second person answers it. Okay, then actividad 4, los verbos como gustar. Instrucciones, completa la frase con el IDOP y la forma correcta del verbo. So you're going to use me, te, le, nos, os, les. And then for fascinates, you would either use fascina or fascinan. Okay, if you need help, you can go up here where I gave you for each verb the two options. So you're going to pick for each verb what the option is. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add one of these, depending on who's doing it. Then you're going to pick one of these. Okay. Then we're going to do a repaso, which is Spanish prepositions. And that should be actually a review from last video. So if you need help with that, just go back to that. Okay, espero que les ayude. I hope this helps you. Adiós y buena suerte. Chao.